My name is Samson Kiai. I'm one of the engineers at ERP Business Solutions. So what ERP is, as Carol has just told you, we are a certified partner for Tally. In that we do customization, training, implementation of the same. So today I'm going to take you through the option for payroll, which is an additional module that ERP has developed that is will help you in managing the payroll better. But first, for those who do not know anything about Tally, I'll want to take a few minutes to explain to you what Tally is. So basically, Tally is a business management software used in small and medium businesses all across the world. And in Tally, you are actually able to manage your entire business, be it the accounting part of your business, inventory part of your business, or even any other part of your business like the expenses and everything like that. So as you can see from my screen, that Tally is subdivided into several locations. We have the master's location here. We have the transaction, utilities, and reports. So basically in masters is whereby you create your ledgers that you'll be using in your business, be it the expenses, sales, or any other ledger that you'll be using. Then under the vouchers now is the day-to-day transaction of your business. And the utilities here, it's all about the banking, and it will help you do reconciliation, bank reconciliation as well. And then we have the last option for reports. So Tally can generate for you a couple of reports in real time, over 50 reports for both the accounting side of your business and the inventory side of your business. So the system is actually able to generate that for you. So I can just show you just a couple of the ledgers that I created here on my charts of accounts. So from here option, you can see ledgers. You can see just some of the ledgers that I created that you can use to maintain in your business. And we can see here, like for the customer one, you can input the details for this particular customer so that you are able to actually keep this record and even share this record with the customer if need be. You can share it via email here. There's an option for email over here. You can email directly from your system. You can even export to a PDF and send it via WhatsApp. So depending on what you prefer, Tally has that for you. So apart from maintaining these particular ledgers, Tally can also help you maintain your stocks. Like you can see here, just a couple of stock that I put in my system that you can able to maintain. And also there's the payroll option that I'll be taking you through. And then from the masters, you come to the vouchers. These are just some of the vouchers that we have in Tally. They are displayed right over here. This is the contra, payment, receipt, sales. So depending on the type of voucher you are doing, you can easily access it from this end. There's this option for other vouchers that will give you some more other vouchers that are in Tally as well. So we have also the banking that I told you, and we have the reports. So the reports, there's this awesome feature that Tally usually automatically generates for you based on the day-to-day transaction you do. Like the profit loss account, you can be able to see here, and you can be able to play around with the date and choose the period of which you want to see, which for the month of January alone. So you can be able to play around with the period and get the exact thing that you want depending on your need as a customer. So without further ado, I want to take you to the payroll module. As I told you, this is an additional module that was developed by ERP. So just a minute, I have to configure it in my system for it to work. So as you can see, the gateway of Tally is a bit different, but still has the same functions as the other Tally. And in case you want to know more about this version of Tally or the other version of Tally as well, you can easily put that on the chat box and we'll get in contact with you and give you a free demonstration depending on what you need. So for the payroll option, first things you have to understand is that you must have a database of all your employees saved in the system. By that, I mean you must have a list of employees with their personal information, phone number, email address. So all this will be useful when you're generating the payroll report. So in order for you to create a new employee in your system, you just come under this option of master management over here. And there's this option for create. And from creating, there's the payroll master. You can see there's the employee option. So from here, you're actually able to create all the details for your employee, their first name, their last name, under which department they are, the time they joined. You can even put additional details over here. Additional details will help you actually. Let me just, okay. So let me see one of the employees that I already created in my system. Like from here, you can see, like this is the information that I created for my employee called Mali, who is under the sales department. You can put in his additional information right over here. And even if you say yes, you can even decide to put in his educational background and his work experience and reference. All this can be filled depending on your need. So Tally has this option whereby you are able to fill all these particular details of your particular employee. So after you've created the database for all your employees, you need to define salary for those particular employees. And in defining salary, there's this option right here called define salary. So for the define salary, there are two methods of which you can define salary. You can define it per department wise or per employee wise. So per department wise, it means maybe you have different departments like the accounts department or the sales department. You can easily define their salary from this particular page. So you can define it as effective from 1st of January. Then we have this basic pay heads, some of the pay heads that we created. And again, these are not the only pay heads you can have in Tally. We can integrate as many pay heads as you want or as many pay heads as you use. So all this depends on your need as a customer. We can be able to configure this pay heads for you. Like for my system, I've chosen just this few pay heads, like for the basic pay, and you can fill in the basic pay here. You can fill in the house allowance if you give any house allowance. Then there's the leave pay and overtime. So overtime basically means some businesses usually allow their employees to have overtime and they pay their employees overtime per hour basis. So you can easily specify that from the Tally system over here. And then you have the NSSF and the NHIF, which are automatically calculated for you. And then we have the payee, which is also automatically calculated for you. Then we have the option for the staff advance and staff loan. All this I'll be taking you through and showing you how you can manage the staff advance and staff loan from your system. So from here is where now you can define the salary for your particular employees. So after you define salary for your employees, before you actually do the particular payroll, you have to create an attendance sheet for your particular employee. By attendance sheet can be created at the end of the day, at the end of the week, or at the end of the month, depending on your need as a business owner. So for you to do the attendance, you have this option called payroll right over here. So I'll just go to payroll, and payroll is also divided into the attendance section and the attendance reports. Then there's the payroll section and the payroll reports. So before you generate any payroll, as I told you, you have to generate the attendance for them. So in my case, I'm going to generate the attendance for the month of September. So for mine, I'm going to generate at the end of the month. As I told you, you can generate at the end of the day or at the end of the week. But for mine, I'm going to generate at the end of the month. And then there's this option here called attendance autofill. As you can see, in this case is very useful in a case whereby you have very many employees in your system and you can't feed in one at a time. So you have to put this option, select all your employees, and then there's this attendance type or production type. So these particular types can actually be configured according to your need as well. But in my case, I have the absent, So for the absent means that these were the days that an employee did not completely show up without any apology or anything. So there will be, you'll put the attendance under absent. And if you put it under absent, the basic salary will be deducted from his payroll automatically. Then you have the option for annual leave and maternity leave. So in this annual leave and maternity leave, although they were absent, but the salary will not be deducted from their account, from their payroll at the end of the month. Then we have the option for overtime. As I told you, some companies give overtime. So in case there was any overtime during that particular month, you'll be able to put it under this particular production type. Then there's the paternity leave, which also no amount is deducted from the basic pay. And there's the present. These are the number of days that an employee was actually present. Then we have the sick leave. So for the sick leave, just as the other leaves that we have on our list, no salary is deducted from the sick leave. And we have the statutory holidays. So these are basically the public holidays that are usually gazetted by the government. You can easily put that on your attendance as well. And we have the weekly off. So for the weekly offs, these are most of the businesses around Kenya don't work on Sundays. So weekly off usually just means in the days of the week that a person is off, most specifically on Sundays. So for our case, we are going to do the attendance for the month of September, and we are going to start with the people who are present. So from here, you can actually see September has 30 days, and in the 30 days, 4 of those days were Sundays. So the official working days in the month of September were 26 days. So you can input from here. And then from here now, you can easily define if there was any employee who was actually absent or on sick leave, you can define from this particular end. So in our case, we can assume that employee called Malik was absent for 3 days. So we can put in, he came in for 23 days out of the 26 days. And you can also put in one for Stella also, who was on sick leave for 3 days. So I've put one for Malik who was completely absent and one was on sick leave so that I show you the effects at the end of that. When we are generating the payroll, you see how the salary was deducted from Malik and how it was not deducted from Stella. Okay. So after that, you save this particular attendance. So that was for the days present. And now we create another attendance list for the weekly off, which is the Sundays that I told you. So from here, you come and select the weekly off. And in that particular month, there were 4 Sundays. So everyone was absent on that 4 Sundays. You can save this. And then last but not least, we need to define for the employee who was absent and the employee who was on sick leave. So from here, we can actually see the employee called Malik, who was completely absent for 3 days. You can define it from here. Then you have the employee called Stella, who was on sick leave as well for 3 days. And then we can assume that employee called Zachary took an overtime of 3 hours. So once you've defined all this, I'll show you the effects of this when you are generating the payroll for this particular 3 employees, Malik, Stella, and Zachary. So you can actually save this. So after you've done the attendance, there's the attendance report down here, just below it. You can be able to see this attendance report. You can select for the month of September, and you'll be able to see that for Mary, she was absent on 26 days plus 4 weekly off. For Mishi, she was also present on 26 days plus 4 days weekly off. And Zachary overtime here has been captured for 3 hours. And Malik here, there's absent for 3 days. And finally, Stella, there's sick leave for 3 days. So all this will be captured. So after you've done this particular attendance, I'll show you how to generate a staff advance. and a staff loan for your particular employees. So first and foremost, we can start with the staff loan for a particular employee. So in order for you to generate any staff loan for a particular employee, or rather a staff advance for a particular employee, you actually need to define that in your system. Okay, in our case, we can do payments for a particular employee. We can do payments for the staff advance for the employee, and you'll be able to see. So just a minute. You can do payment right here. So in the month of September, we have to do a payment for staff advance. So there's a staff who took an advance of 5,000 shillings in the month of September. We can say the staff who took the advance was made, but easily you can select whichever employee who took the advance from here, and you can save this particular payment. You can also do the same payment again for a staff who took a loan. So in our case, we can say that there was a staff loan of 15,000 shillings. You can say the staff loan was given to the employee called Mishi. Again, you can save this. So in our system, we've done a payment for a staff loan and a staff payment. Now we need to capture the same in our system. So for the case of a staff loan who took 15,000 shillings, perhaps you've come with an agreement with the particular employee that every month 5,000 shillings will be deducted from her basic pay in order to pay back the loan. So if she took a loan of 15 shilling and 5,000 shillings is to be deducted every month, it means for the loan to be fully paid, it has to take 3 months. So you have to come and define that for her in her salary as well. So you come to alter, there's the option for define salary, and you go to the particular employee called Mishi. And here you can see effective from 1st January, her salary was 45,000 shilling without any staff loan or staff advance. So when you come here, you can say effective from 1st of September 2022, and you can copy this from the parent value, which means you copy from this value that is up. So the basic pay remains the same, but in our case, she has to pay a staff loan of 5,000 shillings. So for 3 months, she'll have to pay a staff loan of 5,000 shillings, which means when we finally reach December of 2022, her salary will be back to normal. So the system will calculate between September and December, that is September, October, and November, 5,000 shillings will be deducted from her basic pay to pay the particular loan that she took. Then from there, the salary will come back to normal to 45,000 shillings. In case of any question, you can put it in the chat box and I'll be glad to answer it for you. Or in case you need any more clarification, you can also just put that on the chat box. So after you've saved that particular detail for Mishi who took the staff loan, we have to come and do a staff advance also for the employee called Ned who took a staff advance. So for that, we come to payroll option right over here. And then we select the month. And then out of it, then we use user defined over here. This was for the month of September. For September, the employee who took an advance was Ned. You can save it there. So here, you can write he took an advance of 5,000 shillings. So, and then you can actually save that. So after you've captured all those details, including the staff loan and staff advance, you can now create the payroll for this particular month of September. So to create payroll, you just come again under this option for payroll create, and then payroll autofill. Then it's the salary for that particular employee. And then you save it. After you save it, you can just go look at the report that was generated for you, the pay sheet for the month of September. So for the month of September, we had several employees like Mishi who took a staff loan of 15,000. So you can see that there's loan deduction of 5,000 here, like we defined in the system, was captured right over here. And then for the employee Zachary who took overtime for 3 hours, and we defined to be 150 shilling per hour. He took overtime for 3 hours, 450 shillings was here. And then we have the employee called Malik who was absent, and the employee called Stella who was present. So for the sales department, their salary were all 28,000. But since Malik was absent for 3 days without any apology, his salary was deducted automatically. But for Stella, who was on sick leave, her salary remains intact from this end. So that is how you capture the several pay heads, like the overtime, absent, sick leave, advance, and loan deduction. All you capture from this end. Okay. Then here we have some more of the statements that you can actually have a look at. All these are some of the reports that you can see. You have the payee supporting. So basically the payee supporting, it means that this is the amount that you need to pay for the pay as you earn option in the KRA. So all of it will be shown right over here, and you can easily export this or email this or even print this from the system directly. Again, the same with the NSSF statement right over here. Everything will be captured for you, and as well you can email it, print it, or even save it as form of PDF or anything like that. There's also the NHIF statement right over here. You can be able to see it. The same as the others, all will be calculated for you, and you can easily play around with the period. If you want to see only the period of September, all of it will be captured for you for the period you select. So all this, you have the freedom to play around with the period and everything that you wish to see, and you can export the same. You also have the employee pay head breakup. It's some of the other report that is useful. So from this, you're able to see the reports for a particular pay head. Like you want to see for NHIF, it's written over here, and you can just play around with the period. Like this is between 1st September and 30th September. You can even go for overtime and see. You can see Zachary was selected here. He took overtime, and the others did not take any overtime, so it wasn't captured. So all this, you can be able to see that the staff advance, you can be able to see it has been captured right over here, and everything like that. So the other report is also the pay head employee breakup. You can see it from this end, and now you can see it per employee wise, and everything. You can see how much NSSF was paid and NHIF was paid from this end, indirect expenses and all that. You can see the basic pay and house allowance. So you can easily access from this particular report called pay head employee breakup. Then finally, we have this option called P9. In our case, we call it tax deduction card. Okay, this is the report now you can be able to access for the P9 for that particular month. For that particular period that you select, this was selected between January and September. And you're able to see from here the basic salary and everything, the total gross schemes and everything. So you're able to actually print this or email to your particular employees, or even export in PDF form and just give it to them in form of envelope. So that depends on you. So those are just some of the reports you can be able to see for each and every employee you select. All will be captured for you.
Yeah, thank you for taking us through that awesome demo for the overall view of TallyPrime and also the payroll feature. So just a recap of the same. We have done the overview of TallyPrime software. We're able to show you that you're able to capture your accounts your inventory, if you're in the business of inventory, and any transaction you do, you're able to get your real-time financial reports. In addition to that, we have a payroll feature in Tally, which ERP Business-SYS Limited have improved and ensure that it should meet your business requirements in attendance management, in keeping your employee record, statutory deductions, as well as staff advance and staff loans, and you're able to capture the increment and bonus management. And this ensures that, again, the reports are real time. And you're also able to get your P9 card. Not only that, the beauty with Tally is that it integrates the payroll with your accounts. So even if you move to your balance sheet, you're able to see these effects of the pay heads, maybe the expenses, they are well incorporated. So you don't need to do double work on the same. So it saves you a lot of time.
James has asked, is it possible to do a multi-alter on definition of salary? Yes, it is very much possible. If you maintain or define your salary group-wise, like in a sales group or accounts group, then you can do it in multiple format. And how do you remove or delete an employee? Administration has this rights. Or other than deleting, if the person has resigned, there is even option of resignation date. So once you enter the resignation date, his payroll won't be processed. Sachin Patel has asked, we need to buy this payroll separately. It is a separate add-on, and already Carol has discussed about its pricing. You can integrate it with your existing TallyPrime software if you have one. So yes, there's a separate charge for it, but you can operate in TallyPrime software. So there is no need of separate software for it. Ismail Ahmed has asked, how do you calculate a gratuity payment? And okay, how do you remove the employee? It's the same question. Okay, for gratuity payment, it is just a configuration that needs to be done. So if you opt for purchasing this module, so we'll take care of this. We'll take care of configurations of all this as per your company requirements, and it can be done from the system itself. Okay, John has asked, which I already addressed actually. I'll just reconfirm it. Time attendance from the gate to payroll. Yes, it is possible. We have to just integrate it with TallyPrime software. Carol, please confirm me if I have missed on any questions.
Yeah, thank you for that, Suchi. There's a question from Sachin Patel asking what the price is for CPA module. So as I had mentioned before during the start of the webinar, Tally is meant for SMEs as well as professional accountants. And for professional accountants, we have a special, CPA package under our CPA program. So some of us here could be under that program, and some will not be aware of it. So we are going to connect with you and also share this. So the prices that were shared are for the SMEs. Yeah, so Sachin Patel and other CPAs that are here will be connecting with you so that we can share the full CPA program and what it entails. So don't feel limited if you're not in these two locations. We are able to reach out to our customers. We have customers even globally. So feel free to contact us. So these are our contact details for Raj Shetty and also our office number. Yeah, and you can talk to us about anything, any training, as I had mentioned, corporate training, the sale of Tally. We do customizations of invoices and reports as per your business requirements. We do iTax training as well. So take note of that in case you're already a Tally, TallyPrime user and you need some of those services. You can always reach out to us.
Can international user be able to purchase Kenya payroll module and be able to integrate it and use it? Yes, we even provide remote services. But now this we'll have to discuss whether you want it to operate internationally for Kenyan country or other country. We'll have to get in touch personally to understand your requirement. But yes, it is very much possible. Okay, even I can see a question from James. And does it allow duplicate ID numbers? So no, it won't allow duplicate ID numbers, because when you try to enter the same number, it will warn you for the duplication of the numbers. So it won't allow, it will block you. And okay, again from James, is it possible to search an employee using an ID number? Yes, it is possible.
Yeah, thank you, Suchi. Thank you, Sam.
Well, thank you.